Welcome to episode 33 of PuckPod by BE Sports. Here we are, once again, another week of this long NHL season awaiting the off
Of
season.
this.
We were just talking about how off camera, we were just talking about how like if you're not of the three teams that are still alive, it's such a drag, but we're loving it because of the fact that obviously it's good hockey. And I will open up with this. How do you guys feel that the Carolina Hurricanes have now been eliminated by the Florida Panthers?
Bro, I don't even know if I care anymore. I don't even I think I'm honestly excited because I'm like, okay, let's go pick like a vulture at the Carolina Hurricanes roster. That's what I've been doing. You guys know I've
Yeah,
been
bring me the
scouting.
off season now.
It's funny
Yeah,
because
exactly.
because at the end of the pod, I have like a list of trades. We're gonna do that again, and half of them are from
Ooh.
Carolina because I just grabbed the first like six or seven that I saw that involved like Toronto, right? And then
Oh,
half of
they've
them
Weird.
were from
it's been
Carolina. So
such a hot
Yeah,
market for the two teams recently, man. I've seen
yeah.
so many of those mock trades going around. Um, thank God. I don't know if it's thank God, but imagine if we got two conference final sweeps. How bad would that look? Like we were talking about the NBA, right? Or well, we weren't. We were talking about it before the thing.
talk about
How
hockey.
interesting?
We're
Yeah.
talking about hockey, then soccer, then the
Yeah, I talked a
NBA.
lot of
We
soccer
talked
before this
40
pod.
minutes of soccer, and guess what,
It
guys?
just
I don't even watch soccer.
That's tough.
um how interesting is it that we thought we were gonna get four separate conference final sweeps? Now in the
Yeah.
NBA, Boston forced a game seven after being down 3-0, which I, I'm even more surprised that no team has ever done that alone in the history of the NBA. I guess maybe that's like the one difference between hockey and soccer where you could actually like that's a legitimate stat to say like hockey is so unpredictable sometimes that's happened
Four
before
times or
four
whatever.
times, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
But it's actually happened like dude, no team's even taken it this far in the NBA basically, right?
I wonder, has it ever happened in MLB? Just off the top of my head. If we don't have an answer, we don't have one. But I've been thinking off the
I
top of
you
my
know
head, and
what?
I don't
I'm
know.
not too sure.
Yeah, because that would be a really tough feat too with the MLB, just from a pitching standpoint. Like it would
Mhm.
be really tough. But
Well, you would
it
need your
just goes to the
pitchers.
point.
You would need your entire rotation at that point to go legitimately
Yeah,
flawless for the next four straight games, which is hard because then
yeah,
it's the same thing with the other sports where it's like you need the rest of your team to be flawless for four straight games again. But it's definitely brought a lot more eyes back on the NBA
oh yeah.
with Boston kind of doing the miraculous right now.
And
Uh
and fingers crossed Dallas can do it too. I mean, they're
Yeah, so
still
that
they're still in
that's
it.
my thing is if Dallas does that, like if they bring it to seven, we get a game seven in a series where we thought was going to end in potentially it could have been three games. Like, you know what I mean? Like, dude, Dallas looked like dead in the water after Jamie Benn went, I don't know, axe chopping at who was it, Mark Stone's head? Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Dude,
So
man, it's interesting.
So in regards to the playoffs so far, I think I'm gonna make a take here. I'm gonna make a claim. It's a little bit early, which is why I'm making it now. I think the Conn Smythe's already been decided. It's not Matthew Kachuk.
If it's not Bob,
Yeah, that's
then
that's my pick.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think
I was thinking about this too because let's say you're doing team MVP by round for the Panthers. It's always someone plus Bob. So round one, Montour plus Bob, I guess you would say. I think
yeah,
that's probably the way you would go. Round two, is it even anyone but Bob? I don't even know if there's a second MVP against the
Probably
Leafs for
not.
the Panthers, right? It's
Bennett.
just Bob.
Maybe Bennett. Yeah, I was gonna say
But
that
even
like
then,
No, I
like,
know, I know.
would
I'm
you take
making a
legitimately
it?
joke.
like
But over Bob, I don't know. It's tough. It's really tough. So even then, so once again, person plus Bob. Round three, Kachuk plus
Matt.
Bob,
Yeah.
right? But listen, you get it. Like Kachuk, 3 game winners in a sweep. Insane, incredible, incredible. Bobrovsky's save percentage was in the 970s. That's
Unheard
that's
of. Like,
unheard of.
yeah,
Exactly.
that's an
So
alien stat.
yeah, I don't see any way where Florida wins and it's not Bob's. But Brian, so you're saying it's going to be Bob no matter what?
No
You
matter
think
what,
even if
win,
if
win or
Panthers
lose,
lose?
even if the Panthers lose, he'll still be the Conn Smythe winner. Like I don't know what his
Mm,
stats are, but they're like through the
yeah.
roof.
You
Because
know
And
I
what? And
didn't
I'm thinking
know.
about it to myself. Who on Vegas can you say has had as good of a playoffs as Bob? Unless they have a legendary finals. Like they
The
they've had
only
solid guys, but
Aiden
no
Hill's
one,
been Aiden Hill's been
He's
like
not as good as
there,
Bob.
but he's not been as good as Bob. That's
and he
the
hasn't played as
problem,
many
right?
games as Bob.
And
Mm-hmm.
Just
and
from a quantity standpoint, he's behind.
I think the only way my take is wrong is if Vegas sweeps and each game is like a 6-0 blowout. That's the only possible way because
Yeah,
his stats are so high right now. It's like how could it's gonna take that much to bring it down? Obviously, it's
if
not
I
realistic. So I'll put my flag down on that. I think
if I had
Bob
to
wins the
choose a
Conn Smythe.
non-Panther, okay, so this is the problem though. This is like assuming Vegas wins. Like, okay, from Vegas, I could see Eichel like having like a series and stealing the Conn Smythe, assuming Vegas were to win. Dallas, you can go Rupe Hintz, right? That's probably the guy
Yeah.
if they were to advance. So
But
I
how
mean,
many
it's still probably the safe bet that it's Bob.
like regardless though? That's what I'm trying to say.
I
So
know. I'm.
That's a crazy one.
Yeah,
Because
it's funny, isn't it? The goalies who always do this. I think the only other guy was Jaguar to lose
yes,
and win the Conn Smythe.
that was my next question. Who was I think Jaguar would have been the last one, right? Like
He might have even
2003.
be the only one. I don't even know if there was anyone else. I think it was 03. Yeah.
Man.
it's not a common
Did
thing that occurs. I'll tell you that. But
No,
did
no.
Brodeur ever because I think he lost a finals. Did he win Conn Smythe that year? I don't know.
It's probably a good bet for any of the Devils wins, to be honest, though. Like, who else would be
Another
winning
thing as
Conn Smythe
well
for
is
them?
what are the chances of the opposing team like that hasn't even set aside goalies alone, like has how many times has an opposing team's player, so like you lose out on the Stanley Cup but you win the Conn Smythe? Like I don't even think that's happened that often. It's like Jaguar and who else, like who else was putting up ridiculous numbers and not winning the cup, basically.
You could have maybe made an argument if, let's say, McDavid or Draisaitl ended up in the finals. Like those are the type of guys who, outside of a goalie, you could see winning it in a losing effort.
Yeah.
But we don't have that from the remaining teams. You have just kind of your run of the mill, decent
They probably
playoff
had a
run.
better shot at it last year when they made the conference finals, and they were
Yeah,
I think they both ended or at least one of them probably ended up as like top point getter after
well,
losing in the conference finals.
I think
how
Draisaitl's still the
crazy is
leading.
that?
I think Draisaitl's still the leading goal scorer.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
I
Like
know
with
Hintz needs I think 2 or 3 more to catch
something
up,
like
and
that.
he's been eliminated for a full series. Like, you know what I mean? Like, holy
Yes.
cow.
Yeah,
I do
it's
want to
insane.
see Dallas become the 5th team or whatever of like in history to do it and come back and go to the final. I think
It'd
that'd
I
be
want to
be
interesting.
backtrack for a second, related to Carolina and Florida. So I was
yep.
just looking also at the Miami Boston stuff. Miami is the 8th seed, right? So Florida, we could call
Yes.
them the 8th seed. Carolina was the 2 seed, just behind Boston, first seed in their division, but overall 2 seed. Boston Celtics are also the 2 seed. So we had even the same seeding matchup between Panthers, Hurricanes, and Heat and Celtics. Crazy how it's gone the total opposite way in one sport versus the other. But I mean, looking at the NBA, talking about how the better team usually wins, this is probably like the dream scenario. If there ever was going to be a scenario to come back from a 3-0 comeback, you have the number 2 seed Celtics who went to the finals. When was it? I think it was last year they went to the finals and lost.
Yep.
Yeah.
Versus the
GSW.
8th seed Heat. It's like the perfect recipe. But once again, you would have thought that maybe even in the Panthers Hurricane series, but went totally different direction.
So I also just wanted to say like I also hope the Celtics do it on their side because how fun it would be to get like 2 high school friends in the final of their respective
Yeah.
sport.
Jason Tate.
That'd be pretty funny.
They're gonna throw that everywhere. It's already been talked about ad nauseum, but yeah, it would just be everywhere. I cannot bring myself to cheer for a Boston sports team. I'm sorry. Too much winning for them. We cannot let them have the record as the first NBA team to come back from a 3-0 deficit. No, thank you. I will be
Yeah.
cheering for Jimmy Buckets.
I think though out of the 4, like out of the big 4 there though, I think Boston's
Yes.
probably my favorite. Like, sorry, the Celtics are probably my
The Celtics
favorite.
are
You gotta
out
pick
of
your
the
words
4.
carefully there.
It's like if
I very much agree, Dave. Very much agree.
if it's a pick your poison, I think the
Yes.
Celtics are probably the one I'm taking like on the poison level.
Yeah, it probably
But
goes Bruins, Patriots, Red
yeah.
Sox, Celtics. I think it's probably
I'm flipping Pats and Red Sox because oh man, I
it's
hate the
fair
Red
because
Sox too.
The Pats also suck right now. So
Yeah.
we don't have, and there's also no Toronto specific hatred for
Yeah.
the
They just beat
Patriots
the
because
hell out of the Bills for
yeah,
the past 10 years.
and without Tom
But
Brady, it's like yeah, that
yeah.
goes away. But yeah, I'm sorry, we can't let Boston and Massachusetts
No.
have this. I'm sorry, no, thank you.
No, too much
I
money.
will be having none of that. No.
They're oh man. I hope I like now that you said that, man. As much as
Uh,
cool as it would as cool as it would be to see like Tatum in the finals with like Mac Chuck, his best friend, that would be a story. But just
You can't
I
get
don't know.
yourself to say it.
No.
I wish Tatum was
And
on
the
like
NHL's the little brother in that story again. Like I don't know, maybe it's fine because
oh, if you
you're getting
think
put in the NBA spotlight. But
if you think TNT is gonna do anything like that, like Sportsnet would or like
yeah,
TSN would, oh, you're crazy.
like
That
the
would
story
that's
isn't that Jason Tatum went to school with Matt Kachuk. The story is
it's
that Matt Kachuk went to school with Jason Tatum. That's
yeah,
the story here.
that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like an everyday Tuesday on the TNT panel. They show
Yeah.
that it's like, oh, look at these two guys. They went to high school. Can't Shaq, taught at this high school, and I don't know, Bam Adebayo went to this high school. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like something like that. It's like, that's the stuff that happens every day on the
Did either of
NBA.
you guys catch the Kachuk segment on
No, I
TNT?
didn't. I didn't.
It's a
Yeah,
bit
I know.
weird.
I didn't get to see it either, to be honest. But I did see a quote. I guess Shaq was asking him if
I
Shaq was asking Kachuk if he has home ice advantage. He's like, "Dude, we got in the playoffs by 1 point.
one
We
point.
absolutely do not have home ice advantage." So
That's fantastic.
Kachuk is like, listen, he's got a good personality, and kudos to him for taking up this mantle because I think there's even guys in the NHL who have personality but would rather keep it to themselves and it really aren't made for this type of spotlight. So kudos to Kachuk. He is a natural in the media. Um, kudos to you for stepping up to the plate.
Here's my next question. Is Matt Kachuk doing more for the NHL than Connor McDavid ever
Yes.
has?
Yes, bro. Yeah,
Yes.
man.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
think so
even a
too.
question. It's not.
Dude.
Could you imagine McDavid on that panel? Could you imagine that?
Oh my god, awful. Brutal.
So unfortunately,
Shaq was caressing Matt Kachuk's leg midway through. There is no shot. Shaq would move 5 feet clear
Dude,
of McDavid, dude. He'd be like, who
McDavid
is
would
this guy?
turn red as a tomato. Red
Yeah.
as a tomato. We even saw, bro. Remember the draft lottery when he heard that Edmonton won the draft lottery, and there's the meme of McDavid's face, like he's not happy. Yeah, yeah.
Oh man.
It's a hilarious thought to even think about. But hey, look at us. We got on TNT. We got on the Inside the NBA panel. Let's go hockey.
Pat ourselves on the back for that one, guys. Good,
Oh yeah,
good job.
we did it. Job's done. Let's go home.
and you know what?
Oh.
Fingers crossed that we do get another chance. Someone from the NHL gets another chance to step up, get on the panel, and grow the sport of hockey, like Gary Bettman, because he got his full Sun Belt quarterfinal. You can say, right? Do you guys think that has anything to do with why hockey's been a bit down? Like we don't have any legacy markets in the top four, right?
Yeah. So that's a good point because the Boston Celtics are a marquee franchise. Like they're top 3 media market, who is the Lakers, Knicks, Celtics, I'd probably say. I think that's probably
We'll go with
the
that. Yeah.
bona fide top 3. Yeah, you don't have that in the NHL.
And you also
I
had the
don't know.
Lakers. You had
Do
the
you
Lakers
guys-
also in the Final Four as well.
Yeah,
Right? It's not
yeah.
like just Boston like could be potentially moving on to the finals, but you had no bona fide markets. You had it was all the Sun Belt markets that were in the Final Four. Like
Do you guys
there was-
remember?
guess-
Do you guys remember
Go ahead,
when
bud.
I think it was, I'm not too sure. Yeah, I think it was the bubble year or the year after. Montreal made it to the final that year. And all
I
you can see
don't remember that, Brian.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
well,
I have no recollection.
I
It's-
threw
it's
my
like-
TV out a window after that. I stopped
Oh,
watching.
then you wouldn't know that. I was like every time you turn onto the
Yeah.
TV, it was like I don't know, like Ryan
National
Suzuki
story.
or Nick Suzuki or like Dano eating pizza or something like that. Like
Yeah.
every single
Or
time.
they
my
had they had a
God.
parade in
Oh.
Montreal for a week
Yeah.
straight. They had people
Yeah.
outside the goddamn Bell Center every single game because it
Yeah.
was Montreal was in the finals, guys.
Bloody
Well, let's go
hell.
celebrate.
Yeah,
I
I'm trying to think.
couldn't
When was the last
imagine
time
what
we had?
that's like.
We literally could not. Literally could not.
Like you
Um,
couldn't get it off your television screen,
Yeah,
right?
that's
no,
bad.
I'm trying to think when the last time we've had two big market teams in a final. I don't know. Does Bruins
Bruins Canucks.
Blues count? Yeah, that's where I was gonna go after Bruins Blues, but Bruins Nuts is definitely bigger.
No,
Uh,
Um,
but are the
Blackhawks Bruins
Canucks?
2013.
yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
that'd
You're
probably
right.
be
That's
the
the
only.
last one.
But
And
are
okay,
the? I
so
don't even think the Canucks are.
They're a big market.
They're
Period.
the
Like they just are. They're not
they're
like
the arguably fourth biggest Canadian market.
yes.
I'd put them three.
No.
I'd put them three. I think they're bigger
Yeah.
than Edmonton and Calgary. There is the McDavid effect in Edmonton, but as a just if you were to isolate the markets themselves, I would say Vancouver three behind Toronto, Montreal. But yeah, I guess I
They are the redheaded stepchild of Canada, right? Because you think of Toronto, you think of Montreal when it comes to Canada.
and then you think of everyone else.
Then it's in terms of everything, then it's Vancouver, right? In
Yeah.
MLB, in NBA, in MLS. MLS has the three teams, right? But you think Toronto, you think Montreal, and then you have Vancouver, right? In the NBA or the MLB, they are when they've been looking to expand, it's been let's move a team back to Montreal, or we could move a team to Vancouver, right?
NBA.
NBA, should we move a team back to Vancouver? Or we could go to Montreal. You know what I mean? Like, there's always that thing where it's like, or it's never locked in Vancouver, personally.
That's a fair
Hundred
take.
percent. 100%. But
But
I'm just thinking like Bruins, even Bruins Blackhawks, like that was. I'm just thinking about the
yeah,
media hype around that. Huge
that's,
media hype. Huge media
I
hype. We're
think,
not going to see that much media hype this year.
unfortunately, if you have a Canadian team in the finals, it's seen as an loss. It's seen as an L by the NHL. Unfortunately, like that's unfortunately the world that we're living in.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the NHL would much rather get new fans in markets like Vegas, Dallas, Carolina. Who's there now? My God,
Florida,
why am I?
Florida.
Oh,
Florida.
Seattle's another one.
Oh yeah.
You have Seattle and Florida, and with Tampa winning, Tampa's a pretty good market to think. Like, the Rays were in the World Series a couple of years ago. They showed up for the Rays, even though they're in arguably the worst ballpark in the MLB, probably the worst stadium in all of the major professional sports right now, besides like the Oakland Athletics. And
Yeah.
they're also located like an hour and a half away from Tampa, like the Rays. So they can draw fans, but they still showed out for the Rays when they made it to the World Series. The Bucks have been a revelation for the Tampa area over the past few years. Like, you brought in Tom Brady, you won a Super Bowl. The Lightning have been
They're the best one.
incredible. They've been arguably the best one, and they are still even like probably the third choice in the Tampa Bay area. Like,
I don't know. Honestly, I think
would say second, maybe they. I think
Dude,
the Bucks like they have number one spot. I'll be honest
okay.
with you.
I honestly think that like yes, just because football, but if you want to talk about which team has more diehard fans,
Oh, it's the
honestly,
Lightning.
I think the Lightning have a larger diehard fan base than the Bucks. I think people watch football because it's football, and so you're gonna bring around more people, a lot more casual fans. But I think that Tampa definitely has more diehard fans, and why? Well, they have a little bit of history from 2004 winning a cup, and they have a ton of recent history of going to three straight finals. And I think they have a very established fan base now. Where if they were to, let's say, go into a rebuild, I don't think that you'd have to worry about the fans necessarily abandoning the team, any type of financial worries, anything like that. And I think we've seen this exact same story. I want to give credit to Carolina. I think they might have one of the most passionate fan bases in the league. Just from me going on Cap Friendly, whatever. Like their fans are educated. Their fans are well versed in just everything around hockey.
They're loud
and you wouldn't
too.
necessarily. They're very loud. They show up. They support. They have a brand. All of this stuff. And that's a team where how many years ago? Like you don't have to go back that far to when they were like a lousy team, a mediocre team, not selling out their arena, having no direction. Like, how recent is that? That's less than a decade, right?
Yeah.
They
So
But
success, and
that's also
they haven't even done the thing outside. Okay, they
yeah.
did in 06, but so
Yeah,
look, they did the
that's what I
thing.
was about to say. Like, dude,
Yeah.
that's also then probably 10 years after they had another decade of success because
Mhm.
from
Mhm.
2000, the Leafs, let's not forget, in 2000, the Leafs, 2002, Carolina beat the Leafs in the conference finals to go to the Stanley Cup where they eventually lost, right? So that's 2002. They were also, I think, in the playoff picture the couple years before that, and then that eventually culminated in 2006's Cup, and then they kind of took that momentum for the next couple of years before they became the lousy directionless franchise where
Yeah.
us three grew up knowing the Canes as, because 2006, dude, we were 6 years old. Like I don't have memories of the Canes winning a
my,
cup, but
my
I do
biggest
have
Between 2006 and like this era of Hurricanes, my biggest
Mm.
Hurricanes memory is like the is when the Hurricanes played the Penguins in a excellent playoff series. I think that might have been either 08 or
2009.
09, right?
I
Yeah.
remember that
Yeah.
series. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a great series. The Stahl brothers going at it, right?
Yeah.
Eric Stahl and Jordan Stahl. That's basically my only Hurricanes memory between 06 and this era.
that and like
That's it.
Yuri Tlusty.
I have
That's it.
one.
That's
Dear
I have a
God.
very good one. I have a good one. 2013 Carolina Hurricanes signed Alex Semin to a
Oh.
7x7.
Oh man.
Oh God,
You guys remember
yeah.
that one?
Okay.
Well, that's what I
Yes,
mean by
yeah.
directionless, right?
Yeah,
Like
exactly. That's their
they
David
didn't
Clarkson right
have the
there.
facilities for
Yeah.
Alex Semin at the time, and then Semin also like didn't have the facilities for
To
them.
continue playing
either, I
hockey in the
guess.
Yes,
NHL.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, where I'm
Um,
going with this though is like, I really hope this is the same type of moment for like the Panthers. I think they could spark they're definitely a smaller market, but they could spark it and they could bring it into something more in future years. Even if they don't even necessarily carry the success into the next 2-3 years. If you have a magical run like this, I do think that's something for the fan base to latch onto. And we could end up with them being another like hardcore niche market. I really want to see that because this is another fan
It's
base
good
that's been
comparable.
lamented, right?
Here is the thing with that though. They did do this once.
Mm-hmm,
96,
mm-hmm,
their
mm-hmm.
first year in the league, they
Yep.
had the whole state of Florida behind them. Scott Mellenby killed a rat and then he scored 2 goals that game, and then Rat City was born, right? They still throw rats to this day because of that moment
It's a
in
great tradition.
96.
It's great.
Right?
Yeah.
Great tradition. They lost that momentum within the next 3 years, I think. After that, bad trades, bad management, bad coaching, bad whatever.
Can I tell you why it's different this time?
So here's the thing. Can you learn from your mistakes? That is where I'm trying to get at.
I can tell you why it's different though. The reason it's different this time is because now they have absolute world beaters locked in for the next several years.
Fair.
That's
fair.
why.
They do.
I
They do have
agree
the-
because I don't even think they have to have like great team success. Like I think they could like make the playoffs once every 3 years for the next decade and still maintain a lot of this momentum just as a media market. I think they could. Just the
Like-
Kachuk personality is enough to sustain it.
Dude,
Yeah.
this exact team let's say they ran this exact same team back next year, they could miss the
Yeah.
playoffs. Like that's how close they
Yeah,
were to
yeah.
not making it this year. But they
Yeah,
might
we want our
win the
spot
cup,
back.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Man. It's a great
would be-
story though. I have to say, like,
It
you know
is.
what?
I
I'm gonna try to
do-
remove all biases like out of like my thing, but you
I've
just
moved
gotta
on now. I feel like I can look
Yeah.
at them like isolated without thinking about the Leafs. I think I'm at that point now, but
I agree.
I'm gonna go-
I'm there, yeah.
I'm gonna say, like, my order of like who I want to prefer to win from this point on. It's Dallas 1, Florida 2, Vegas 3.
you don't have
Really not a
sympathy
Vegas
for
guy.
Vegas after beating them in the finals, man? Come on.
No,
I
like,
saw
it's a new team. It's like six guys in that roster.
I think Vegas honestly might be number one for me. Vegas, Dallas, Florida. I think honestly that's my order.
When did Vegas become the most hated NHL franchise? Like I know, okay,
They're,
listen,
they're
I know
MAF
the
Bruins
stuff.
Leafs.
West. They're
The Fleury
Bruins
stuff.
West.
Dude, I think they're more hated than the Bruins. I think like Bruins, like let's say like a Bruins fan and a Knights fan were to get into a fight online, the people would help the Bruins fan
Y-
out. They would
you
stomp
know,
on the Knights
okay,
fan.
hear me out. Hear me out. Okay, they've started beef with every single team in the league with free
Well,
agents alone.
in their
Hear me out.
stupid social media account the first year, that's what it
Yeah,
was.
No, but
That's
that
part
didn't
of it.
help.
that too. But hear me out. St. Louis wins the cup. They sign the captain away. Remember that.
Yeah.
Petrangelo's gone. Uh, the Dadanov stuff. Like, how could you break a
What
no
about the
trade
Fleury
clause? Like,
Yeah.
stuff?
even the
Nate
Fleury stuff.
Schmidt. Remember there was a Nate Schmidt thing?
Yes, that too.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't remember that.
Dadanov.
What happened with Schmidt? Was that
He had like a micro amount of like a PED or
PD?
yeah, and then he
Yeah,
like
okay, I
tried to
remember that.
dispute it, and he had like a really I don't even want to say he had a really solid claim. I don't know, it could have been like totally legitimate and wrong what he did, but that was still another scandal. Yeah, they were just ruthless. Like they'll trade their guys to make their team better. It doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah.
It's like
Jack Eichel trade
mercenaries.
is right. Jack Eichel trade, Mark Stone trade, Petrangelo
But
signing.
maybe that's what we need though. Like, why do
No,
we
I
want?
think that's a great point.
I think like
Yes.
How
you
many
got to be
coaches, guys?
ruthless.
How
You
many
have to
coaches
be
have they gone through?
Gerard
four.
Gallant won.
Pete
Pete,
DeBoer, the
wasn't
guy
Pete
they're up
DeBoer.
DeBoer?
against.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, and now we're on Bruce
Uh,
Cassidy.
is that three?
that's right.
I,
Yeah.
I could have sworn there was one
And
more.
so,
Did they
and
not have
the
an interim?
crazy thing, they they might have, but I don't know. The crazy thing is every single one of them has brought them to a conference finals at least. How insane is that?
They're spoiled
How
too.
insane
That's
is
another
that?
thing.
Yeah.
Like,
No, they're 100% spoiled. 100%. The fans don't. I do. I don't know. I go back and forth of saying the fans don't know what they've got, or if they do cherish it, because I do think they're one of the louder buildings, probably
I
like
think they
high up there.
understand what they have because
Yeah,
they witnessed the miss last year, their first ever miss.
maybe they don't understand. They
oh,
don't
boo.
understand what they don't have. Maybe that's what it is. Okay, and actually, no. You made a good
They
point.
don't
They do.
understand like a disparaging
Yeah,
franchise. They don't understand
yeah,
like gutting the team out completely, bottoming out from
yeah.
bad contracts and fair. I get that. You
In due
don't have
time,
that type of
Vegas fans.
misery.
In due time.
It's
Maybe.
coming.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
you know what? In the current though, it's them and also potentially the most unlikable, hated player in the NHL somehow in Jack Eichel, Mr. Number 2. He'll always be remembered as Mr. Number 2. He's the
I think that's a good
Passover.
start for them. I
I'm
think
sorry,
that's a
like
good fit.
and I really want him to win, to be honest. I want the Jack Eichel vengeance story. I really do want it. I think that's one of the best storylines that could come out of this is to have Jack Eichel like be the face of a Stanley Cup winner. I really do want to see that. I think he makes a great villain. I think he plays the role very well.
Could
And
you
we need more
imagine
villains, right?
imagine if he won the cup? It'd be like, okay, so I'm drafted number 2, this and that, whatever, and then he would go
He's-
along and then he would say, but tonight I'm number 1, and he lifts the cup.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, that's Brian. That's
man.
what I was thinking. I'm like, the Kabakostas is gonna have the post cup interviews, and I feel like Jack would sneak in a little something at Connor. He would, and Connor, like, dude, Connor's the type of guy who'd be like, "No, Jack's right. I don't have a cup. Like, dude, he's right. He's better than me." That's the type of guy that Connor is, right? But like, when Kadri won, right? What did
Yeah.
Kadri say? Dubas, like, you can shove it up your, you know what? He didn't
Is
say
that what he
Dubas,
said?
But he said no. He said
Yeah.
there
Oh,
are
okay.
people who can shove it up their, you know what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like for
You can
everybody who
put
called me
the
a playoff liability, now you could shove it up your ass. It's like, but
yeah.
you were. Like, let's not forget
All
You can be
right.
both. Two things can be true.
directly
man.
after you got traded out of Toronto after 2 straight, suspensions in the first round, you went and got suspended the very first year in Colorado. Like, let's not forget that. You were a liability. You just improved. Like, not improved, but like you learned from
Two
your
things can
thing.
be true. You were this, and now you are that.
now you are
Right?
a changed man. Like there's no need to
Yes.
be salty, Naz,
Yes.
but because we still love you. I still love you, Naz.
Yeah.
That hurt though. That did hurt.
Okay.
But
We've
but
done.
if
We've done.
if
Go ahead,
Jack
Brett.
wins,
Yes.
what is the mood in Buffalo like?
Doesn't matter.
I think they're actually in the best spot they've been in forever. Like they're just like happy go lucky right now.
So
I think they would actually have a little bit of the
Do you
not
think they
remorse, but
forgive?
they feel
Do you think they forgive Jack?
No, but
Um,
they don't forgive him. But they're like, you know what? Like you could
I
have this
think
one.
it's the
We'll have the
start of
next
the.
yeah,
couple.
I think it's the start of the forgiveness tour in Buffalo for
yeah,
Jack. Because
yeah.
imagine if Jack's on the current Buffalo Sabres. Now I know like you have to get rid of some of the pieces that are there now.
Tuck Krebs.
Tuck and Krebs especially, right?
Yeah,
Is Tage Thompson even like what he is now if Jack's
because
on
maybe
that
doesn't
team?
get that ice time
Maybe
opportunity,
doesn't
right?
exactly. But
Yeah,
That's
you
one of the
know,
trades that's you can argue worked out for both
that's a
teams. And
great win-win. That is an
Yeah.
absolute
that did
win-win.
not look like a trade that was going to be a winner for Buffalo at all,
No, it
right?
didn't. The only piece I liked in that trade was Tuck,
Tuck.
honestly. Yeah, even
Yeah.
Krebs I wasn't sold on. And I mean, listen, he still isn't like great yet,
He's not a road
but
beater, but he's there.
he's part of the solution there. He's part of the
I
It's a
growing
work in
think
core.
progress.
I think
That's
the
the main thing.
biggest
And
win
Tuck is
for
a
that
home run.
the biggest win for that trade wasn't any individual player. It was getting rid of the
The
toxicity
1C
that
spot.
was there.
Yeah.
No, it
Yeah.
wasn't even that. It was getting rid of, that
Change
atmosphere
the aura.
alone can just change everything about your organization,
Yeah.
right?
Which
this
one
your
hurts
seg-
more?
Is this your
Ryan
segue?
O'Reilly? So-
This is my
I was gonna say,
segment to what?
is this your segue into the trades?
Oh,
No,
That's
we'll
coming.
do
Don't
them.
worry.
We'll do them.
Don't make me do
Which one's
that.
worse? Ryan O'Reilly, Conn Smythe with the Blues the year after getting traded, or Jack Eichel 2 years after Conn Smythe with Vegas? Which one hurts more? I think it's definitely
still
Jack
going to be
Eichel.
Jack, just because
Yeah.
he was,
Drafted,
Golden boy.
put all
franchise
their
piece,
hopes and
right?
dreams on him.
Yeah, but here's the thing, like the fan base put all their hopes and dreams on, but like
Sure.
management
I think
didn't.
right. Yes. Yes, but the fans rightfully so did. Like Jack is a great player. You look at the guy, you say that's the cornerstone piece. But yeah, like you said, it's Jason
They were-
Botterill and Ralph
they were
Kruger and all these. Yeah.
They were upset
Yeah.
they didn't get Connor McDavid.
Who was the guy? Was the guy's name the other GM, Tim Murray? Was that the guy with
Yeah.
glasses? Like he also sucked
I have
too.
no
Like,
idea.
I also
Yeah.
sucked.
I saw this. I saw this on a pod. Do you? I don't even remember this happening. But do you guys remember that Tim Murray kind of went out to his fan base and was like, we're disappointed we didn't. The fans deserve the number one pick. Basically, casting Jack aside before they even drafted him.
Yeah.
Like,
Because
what a
that tank
terrible
was
way-
nuts. That
Yes.
tank
Yeah.
season was absurd. They were trading anyone who could play goalie. Michael Neuwirth. I don't even remember some of the names. There was anyone who made a save was ran out of town in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Remember Dan Bausma was the coach there too. Like that was also
they thought bringing in the former. He had won. Did he win all three? No, he won one cup with the
He
Penguins.
won one with
only
the
the
Pens,
2009.
That's all.
They thought
That's what
bringing
he rode
the
coattails
former
on.
cup winner was gonna change everything.
Well, you know what he was? He was the consolation prize because they wanted Babcock.
They didn't get Babcock. That's right. That was the other. I forgot about that. Oh man.
Okay. Before we do the trades, I have Brian. Sorry, you have something to add?
If you're a Sabres fan, nothing to be ashamed of. Nothing like you only you're
dude,
on your
totally
way
moved
up.
on.
Like
They are totally moved on. I firmly believe that they're just like, bro, screw you. I don't care. We've got Owen
Tage
Power,
Thompson.
Rasmus Dahlin, Tage Thompson, Alex Tuck, JJ Peterka led Germany in scoring at the World. Like they got so much good going for them. Yuri Kulich is leading the AHL playoffs in scoring.
In the back of your mind, you're like, you could have all that plus Jack Eichel, though.
But Dave, we just talked about. I don't know if you could. I don't know if Jack Eichel stayed here. Does the culture ever change? I don't know.
The culture changes if he gets his surgery, right? Like he's come back with a fully reconstructed neck, right?
That's
I get there was the red flags with the thing. You had him.
There's no one who's in the corner of he shouldn't get it. Is there anyone in that corner? There
was people in that corner of he shouldn't get it. It was the management.
Upper
management was like, I don't know. At the end of the day, this guy's still
he's an asset.
Our commodity here. He's our product, and we don't want him to get it. Which
it's
is the wrong.
It's just another take that just goes in the box of what ifs, and. We can't do anything about that now. Like in the sense
I got one thing.
Yeah.
Pete DeBoer. Do you guys remember the Pete DeBoer stat from last series? So it was the last series. Stars and
Mr. Game
Kraken.
7, right?
Mr. Game 7.
Yeah,
Coach
that's what it
Game
was.
7. He is, what is his record, boys?
I have
6
no
and
idea.
0.
7-0 in Game
Wow.
7s.
Bring him to
If
the Leafs.
Dallas wins Game 6, right? What are we saying? What are we saying? You're gonna hear it all over again. Can we make
Oh,
some
man.
predictions right now for that series? I'm gonna
I'll
take
take
the
Dallas in
cop
7.
out. Yeah,
I'll take
okay,
Dallas
okay.
in 7.
I'm
Good.
going Dallas in 7 too, man. I
Okay.
think that they could do it.
I'm going with the cop out, and I'll say that Vegas wins the next game because the NHL, we always fall a little bit short of the NBA, and I'll say that the NHL continues to fall short of the NBA in terms of storylines, and we don't get the Game 7. I will take the cop out.
I will also say this. Shout out to the San Jose Sharks social media team.
Yeah, that was funny.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, that's funny stuff. No one hates Vegas more than San Jose.
Yeah, all the beef that they have.
And they also just
from
love Joey
series.
Pabst. I think
That
that's
too.
part of it too.
Yeah. And they had like this amazing like drawing of like an otter riding a shark. So cute. Well done to them. We're just gonna go on a quick break. We'll be right back. We are back from a little break, and I have a little game. Well, 2 games. First is, we haven't talked about this yet, but there's a big list of not too strong free agents that are UFA that I just want to go over and just ask these guys, would you like to see them on the roster of their respective team? And I'll give you my take on my team. And yeah. So the first play. Oh, also, contract doesn't matter. Just would you like to see them on the team?
Okay.
The first one I have.
Brian.
The first one I have is Dmitry Orlov. Would you like to see him get signed?
No, he's bad. I would never want him on without. Obviously, yes to Orlov. Dude was Dmitry Bobby Orlov for the Bruins, so that's an easy one.
Vladimir Tarasenko.
This is not okay. I have to, Brian. I have to include the numbers here because I'm just gonna say yes to everyone. I'm gonna say yes, man. Okay. To backtrack, Orlov. What do you think? Let's just ballpark the number. Let's say
we know it's gonna be 7.
Medium term. Let's say medium term. So 5 or 6 year deal.
We know it's gonna be 7 million. We know it's gonna be 7.
Yeah, I think 7.5. I think he can look at Morgan Riley and said Morgan got 7.5. Why can't I get 7.5?
The rumor was McClellan offered him 6, and he shut it down.
Yeah, so I'll say 7.5 was his number. And would I take him would you guys take him at 7.5 on a 6-year deal? I think it's 30 or 31. You see how our answer changes here now?
Yes.
I don't know if I would.
So
that's a tough one.
The reason I wouldn't take him is because we have Dmitry Orlov. He's 23 right now, and he skates better, and his name is Rasmus Sandin. And
Mom, I want Dmitry Orlov. No,
we have him.
Dmitry Orlov at home.
And
even though you guys used to have Dmitry Orlov.
Yes. I'm a
and then we took our Dmitry Orlov.
Yeah.
so I'm biased. I'm attached to Orlov. I would love to see him back in DC, but like the reason I didn't want to include numbers is because A, we don't know what the numbers would be, and B, like it's just tough to say yes to that contract.
It is tough. Yeah, that's the point. Okay, but Tarasenko, to me, that's a guy who screams like 6x3. And no, for the Leafs, it doesn't make sense.
No,
but it definitely makes sense for some teams. He'll sign like the Giroux deal or the whatever O'Reilly signs for something.
You know who it makes sense for? The St. Louis Blues.
Do they get O'Reilly and Tarasenko back? And
won't.
Just say screw you, Rangers.
Oh, that's a real tough one too. Yeah, you know what? That's a real tough one too. I don't know. I think you have to pick between one or the other there.
I think Tarasenko was like a mercenary. Like I said this at the trade deadline. Maybe I should just stick to my guns. I'll say Carolina. Man.
What about the Caps? What about the Caps to go play with?
I mentioned this to Brian. Yeah,
so Kuznetsov and Tarasenko are friends. That's a confirmed thing already.
And always friends with everyone. And that's Russian. I would say,
except for Balkan. But I would like to see Tarasenko on Washington, kind of like how I wanted to see Kovalchuk on Washington a few years ago.
But it's for 3. Let's say it's 3 years though. Like, do you want it for? I don't.
But not for $6 million. Like,
if it's 1 year,
I don't think it's that bad. Is $6 million for Tarasenko that bad?
If it's 1 year and you say 7.5, Bri, just to sweeten it a little bit. You
I
wouldn't
think
be
I'd
like
do it.
True
consider it?
mercenary, yeah.
But hear me out.
He's not gonna sign that
Like,
though. Yeah.
I don't know if he says that yet. I don't know if he agrees
Oh,
that
yeah.
A and B. We have another we still have Mantha on the books, right? So like
Oh,
I don't want to.
he's
Okay.
out of there.
It doesn't make
Send
sense
him to
for
Arizona.
either of our teams, but I think there's a team where 6x3, like maybe
You know
like
what?
Buffalo.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, they're on the cusp. They're
Yeah,
on their way up. They need a
yeah.
little bit of
They got a
leadership.
lot of space
Islanders.
too.
Islanders.
They don't have
That's-
space though.
That's true.
They
That is true.
they do not have
They
the
never
space.
have. They never have the space. When was the last time we said Islanders have the space they can do? Never, man.
Jeez.
I don't
Okay.
know. Lou's always got him backed up. Yeah, go, Bryan. Keep this going.
One more Russian, Ivan Barbashev.
I'd
This is
consider it.
this has got to be a
I am
unanimous
down
yes,
for this
right?
guy.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
5x5, side it.
But he's getting
So,
he's
I
gonna
think he's
get
gonna get more
extra
than that now.
playoff money.
Really?
Yeah.
yeah, he might get 6x5. He might get 6x6.
An extra, yeah.
So, but here's the thing with Barbashev. I'm pretty sure he's only 27 or 28. So 6 years for him isn't like 6 years for Orlov or Tarasenko. You're buying more of his good years. You're only getting maybe 1 or 2 bad years. So I honestly think a team's gonna give him like 6x5. I could see like I was gonna say Colorado, but I think maybe they go the trade route and swing a little bit bigger. I could see him stay in Vegas. I think they might fall in love with him, and I think a total Vegas move is to trade one of their OG guys, like or let go of like Riley Smith or William Karlsson, and be like, this is the new guy. That's the cutthroat Vegas move. So I'll say Vegas sends like 6x5, and he stays there.
Who needs because he's probably not a top line winger, right?
Middle six.
But he
he's
can
a
play
middle
center.
s-
So
yeah.
if you put him as a 2C with 2 really good wingers,
It works.
like you're fine. You can live with that. So on the Leafs, Tavares, Barbashev, Nylander, it doesn't work, unfortunately.
It's
I don't
tough,
think the
yeah.
cap really works for that.
If they do that, if Vegas gets Barbashev back and they play Barbashev as a center, Jack
You think-
Eichel, that's a slam. Chandler Stevenson, that's a slam. And then
Barbashev.
as the C.
yeah, and because Stevenson and Barbashev, let's say you don't even want to call them 2Cs. You call them both 2.5Cs.
2 ways.
Right?
Yeah,
so if you have
2AB.
2.5Cs, like that's pretty good. So yeah, you
Okay.
can survive like that.
James Van Riemsdyk.
No.
JV. Oh, okay, that's a fast no.
He's too goddamn slow.
Too
I'm sorry.
old,
He
too
just
slow.
is. Yeah, and he has no bite. As Elliot Friedman used the word, the Leafs are looking for a general manager with bite. Tell you what, James Van Riemsdyk, no bite included. Bite assembly is required.
He's like the 70-year-old grandma you see at like the retirement home with no teeth.
And his walking stick is his hockey stick, but
Yeah.
he knows how to wield that thing, man. That's the one.
Does he?
Oh,
He knows-
only from the
he
net.
knows what to do
Only
with
when
that.
he's stepping
Yes.
in blue paint.
Man,
Oh, it's the same thing with the old
park-
grandma. You get in the old grandma's little circle, you get in her space.
Yeah, you're getting beat.
Right?
You're getting beat. Yeah.
It's
Dude,
the
you
same
park
thing.
him in front of the net on your PP1 or PP2 and just clap some shit
Yeah.
bombs towards the net. Dude, he's getting 20
That's
goals
his
on the power
breakfast.
play.
That's what
But that's all he's
Grandma
getting.
JVR has for breakfast, man.
He is not getting 5-on-5 goals. I'll tell you that.
And then
right
after
now.
his next contract, Grandma JVR will be going to the retirement home.
He probably should already be in the retirement home. I'll be completely honest with you.
Okay,
but-
I honestly, this is another guy where I think he's a mercenary. Couldn't you see like Colorado, like throw him on like the third line in Colorado or something? He'll get a 1-year deal on a contender. He'll sign a contender deal, like I'm a veterin who needs a cup deal. He's signing that.
he go-
1x1.
Would he work better?
Maybe
on
even 1.5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would he work better on a quick team or a slow? I feel like he'd be more suited for like a slower. Type of system.
Yes.
Like he wouldn't
Could you
work
see
well
Dallas?
on like. I could see Dallas. See, that's
Did
why
we
I
get
was gonna
value out
say
of
like
him?
I could
That's a
see
team.
Dallas and not
even
somebody like
Islanders.
not something like Seattle. You know what I mean? Like
No.
trying to think because they play like so quick or Carolina, right? Who needs
Yeah, no, it
wingers
wouldn't
now,
work.
too.
It
You
wouldn't
know what I
work.
mean?
I was gonna say
Rod would
he would kill
legitimately
him.
fucking kill him, dude. Like,
Dude,
he would be in the ice.
I was gonna say, where is he from? I'm pretty sure he's a New York guy. He might. I can't remember if he grew up a Sabres fan or a Devils fan, but neither of those teams work either.
No.
He wouldn't be
Send
able
him
to
to
keep
the
up.
Islanders.
Yeah, I think we figured it out. Isles for JVR.
Okay.
Oh my god, how
Tyler
to make a slow
Bertuzzi.
team slower? Oh my god.
Ty Burt. I'm sorry. I'm out on Tyler Bertuzzi. I think so many people are on the Tyler Bertuzzi bandwagon, and maybe I'm just trying to zag for the sake of. I don't try to be a contrarian. I like to think I don't try to be a contrarian, but in this instance, I will be a contrarian. I don't like Tyler Bertuzzi at 5x5 or more. I don't.
No.
I'd
Yeah.
rather
I
play
like him as a
Barbashev that.
rental. I would 100% give the exact same money to Barbashev. Tyler Bertuzzi was a great player for the Boston Bruins in round one. You know what other team was also a great player for? The Florida Panthers. He was a great player for the Florida Panthers with the amount of turnovers he made in round one.
Mm.
So,
Especially by the end of that series, dude.
and I don't think he's the type of guy where he has to be dialed in. Like I feel like he's the type of guy you gotta try to motivate a lot. And I think Boston was the perfect fit for him because he embodies what it is to be a Bruin. But in
he's not a
Toronto, I could
Bruin.
totally see him taking I could see him taking like the old Nylander kind of slumps.
Yeah.
That's what I see Tyler Bertuzzi as.
The thing is though, if you get Tyler Bertuzzi, the Toronto market like eats that up. Like that, those are the type of guys that they're looking
Yes.
for, right? Those bite type of guys. You brought up he embodied a Bruin. His playing style embodied a Bruin. I don't think he's a Bruin though.
He didn't
doesn't
take care
have
of the puck like a
He
Bruin.
doesn't have that mental fortitude to be a Bruin.
Yeah.
Those are the types of guys that the Leafs should avoid, where guys try to act like something that they are not. You want to find Boston Bruin guys. Yes, the Boston Bruins traded
This
for
is the sniff
this
test
guy.
we talk about with the Lightning and the Bruins.
Exactly. Yeah. They traded for this guy thinking 100% you bring him into the Boston Bruins culture and he fits the system, and he kind of did everything that he was supposed to do except for those big moments. I believe was he not the one that coughed up the puck to Verhaeghe, who then
he
scored
made
the
multiple
OT winner?
turnovers. He made multiple large turnovers in that series. Yeah.
You can't do that for the Boston Bruins, dude.
No.
And
no.
by proxy,
cost them big time.
You can't do that for the Toronto Maple Leafs because you will
Correct.
then get
crucified
alive. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
How about you, Brian?
No. I'll hard pass.
Bertuzzi for Mantha. Who says no?
Oh, definitely Bruins.
Oh, he's gone. Mantha's gone.
Yeah.
Every time I do an Armchair GM,
bar.
I just send Mantha out to whoever in the West for like a 4th round pick or 3rd round pick.
You send
Mantha's.
It's progressively gotten lower.
You send him out to trail smoke.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's progressively gotten lower. Like it started out as a 2nd, now it's a 3rd. Next week it might be a 4th. At this point, I just want the money.
It's for free. Next week the 3rd is on your side. It's part of the package for Mantha. It's the sweetener.
Okay. So I do have the trades that I know Dave really wanted to hear about. Let's open it up.
I feel like I love these and Dave hates these.
Oh man, it makes me want to cry.
Mitch Marner going to the Rangers along with a 5th round pick for Capo Caco, Artemi Panarin, and a 1st round pick.
No.
Okay. So Brian, Dave, who says no?
Toronto.
No. I think
I think you say
no.
You want to trade
that.
You want to trade
you hang up, delete their number, and run to the trade office and put in that deal and never call them back.
But here's my thing. You want to trade Mitch Marner, who I would say is arguably not the greatest playoff performer for someone who's
have him over Panarin.
Yeah, you have him over Panarin. And we could agree that we don't like Capo Caco, and you want to trade him for your franchise piece?
And the first. Don't forget no.
Yeah, I get.
Okay, so the context is as always, the context. I got to bring it up. Like Marner is on a 2-year deal, so wherever you're trading him, he could totally walk from them. They can't sign him to an extension for a year. Do you not see how many teams can you imagine like having a guaranteed chance of not going in the gutter for 1 year? We've seen it to so many teams where you think that they're like look at Calgary. We thought they were going to maybe even have a better year than last year, and they totally flopped. If you were to send Marner to Calgary and you were to have that type of year, do you think he wants to resign there? No chance. So these types of deals, they don't make sense on the timeline. Like, and if you're the Rangers, you're not saying we're going to trade our number 1 offensive producer, our number 2 young player, and a 1st round pick for a guy that might be gone in 2 years. I think that's That's how I look at it and why it would be a absolute no for the Rangers. Just doesn't make sense. And one more thing. Who the hell is throwing this random fifth in the equation and saying that's what makes the deal work? That's
I don't
what
know.
makes the deal
Some
work. I
Rangers-
just wanted to mention that.
Some Rangers fan. This
They,
is
they
is
see
actually
the
Rangers
next.
fan.
They see the next Hank coming out of that.
It's
pick.
no. The username is some Rangers fan 94. That's the username.
okay. So I apologize for the next three. The next three are Carolina,
God.
and they were all made by Carolina fans.
Dude, they're
Okay, so
horned up for
no,
Willie
no,
and
no,
Marner.
and no. Yeah.
Okay. Going to Carolina is Mitch Marner and the 28th overall pick. Like
Mhm.
your first.
This
The
year,
Boston
ex-
pick.
the Boston
Yes.
pick.
In exchange for Martin Nikash, Alexander Nishishkin, and Brett Pesci.
So Nikishin is apparently like their number one prospect. Every time I see Canes fans bring him up, you'll have other Canes fans in the comments being like, how dare you? How dare you trade my son Alexander Nikishin?
So
He's the next
Matthew Nyes.
Yes, that's how they look at him. Yes, that's a great one, Dave. Nikishin is their Matthew Nyes. So if you're a Leafs fan, you do that trade and absolutely run
Yeah.
because once again, Nikash, RFA, you sign him on an 8-year deal. You could sign him at $9 million and I would still do it. Nikash plus Nikishin,
Plus
who's a
Brett Pesci.
defenseman, plus Brett Pesci, who guess what? He's on an expiring deal. So guess what you can do? You can sign him to an extension. The Leafs would run to the hills with that one.
Yeah. In terms
And Marner
of
can leave Carolina.
yeah. In terms of I like to grade trades on I like quantity over quality because I feel like you could get a lot of quality out of the quantity if you
That's the Sabres Eichel trade right there, right?
Yeah,
That's what we
exactly. If you're able to asset manage properly, a lot of people were saying the Makachuk trade was a W on, and I still don't agree with it.
Yeah,
It's a W on Calgary side because they got more value, I would say.
Yeah.
But I think what Matthew Tkachuk proved to everybody was, sometimes one is better than two. I think in this instance, though,
You're getting three.
You're getting three, and you're like, I would say all three pieces are
quality.
grade A pieces.
You're getting quantity and quality.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah. I think even the Tkachuk trade, if you were to take the names off of the trade, so imagine you're saying we are trading a top 10 forward for a top 20 forward and a number 3 defenseman. When you put it like that, I still do the Calgary side, right? But the context of who Jonathan Huberdeau is, who Matt Tkachuk is, and who Mackenzie Weegar – no, you don't even have to – Mackenzie Weegar off to the side. He's catching strays here. We don't even have to include him in the convo. But the context of Tkachuk and Huberdeau, that's what makes it look different. And this is coming as I was a sucker who said, yeah, this is a W for Calgary through and through. I was that person. We know Dave was on the right side of history. Called it from day one.
I was very few of us.
Yes,
Okay.
very staunch with that opinion. Yes, it's good.
The next one to Carolina, of course, your favorite business partner. Mitch Marner goes to Carolina along with a 5th-round pick for Jalen Chapman.
Again, the 5th
What's
rounder.
up with that 5th-round pick?
Dude, man, I this is what I think, and I just give my theory here. These people are they have their laptop open, but they're also playing like NHL 23. And in NHL 23,
You have to add
adding
it.
the
Value.
5th-round pick is the thing you do to like
The value
secure the
meter.
trade because it'll
Yeah.
be like this is just a bit low for value, and then you add the 5th, and it's like
Here's the
accepted. We
thing.
got it.
On NHL with those 5th-round picks, it's like those picks never hit. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
never.
you'll never get to the point where you see that 5th-round pick ever materialize into anything in your franchise, not even AHL type of piece. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, that fair trade value basically. Of course, you're gonna add it in for the extra because it's expendable. Those are expendable.
Yeah, it's
options right there.
crap to you in NHL.
That's how you game the system. But you don't do that in real life. Like you could find legitimate pieces with a 5th-rounder.
And I don't think the other guy hangs up if you don't include the 5th. You're telling me the whole deal falls apart if there's no 5th?
So I can't even believe you even offered this absolute joke of a trade to us. You didn't include your 2027 6th rounder. What? What does
So-
that even
So
mean?
Brian, what do we got? Marner a fifth for what?
For Jalen Chatfield, Ryan Suzuki, and Carolina's first round pick for the next 3 years.
No.
No, this is a no. This is a
That's
no. Jalen
that's
Chatfield is actually.
as soon as the first name is Jalen Chatfield, I'm like, all right. Hang
I
up.
don't even
I want
think
that number.
Jalen Chatfield's not even bad. Ryan Suzuki, not really that big on. But
Dude,
three
he's a-
firsts, I'm not interested in 3 firsts from Carolina.
Jalen
I'm
Chatfield
not.
is a 7 right now on
Yeah.
Carolina, and they're
Okay,
out.
so here's another thing with Hurricanes fans. Like I talked about how passionate they are and whatever. They are also like in love with all of their players. Like if
Yeah.
you were to ask them, they don't have bad players on their team. Everyone is incredible. They're all
I
like
mean-
playing above they actually are better than where they play. So you see
Yeah.
Jalen Chatfield's a 7, they tell you he's a 5 waiting to be a 3 on another team.
Yeah, that's true. It's
But,
just
and
that
I agree with that. I'm
they
not saying that's reality, but
they are
that's
too
just how they
loaded.
are.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess every team's like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
We
some,
have
some
a-
teams are more realistic than some fan
Yeah.
bases are more realistic. Some are pessimistic too. Some are like all our
Yeah.
players are shit, right?
yeah, I guess.
I
I guess you're right.
I kind of I was
But
gonna
yeah,
say
no,
they
but
remind me of
There's no way
no.
Jalen Chatfield's like
If
the star
Jalen
piece there.
Chatfield is the headliner of a Mitch Marner trade,
Yeah,
just
you lost.
incinerate me, turn me into
Yeah.
smithereens.
No, I will
man.
legitimately revoke my fan card if that's
Yeah.
the case.
Okay, now
So-
also the other part though is I don't think Carolina is interested in trading 3 first-round picks for a guy who could walk in a year. Mitch
Yeah.
Marner would not resign in Carolina. I'm sorry, he just wouldn't. I don't see it.
I don't know. See, that's the thing. I don't know. So let's say hypothetically, here's the
Yeah.
situation. Mitch Marner gets traded out of Toronto. He has this year and next year on the team that he's traded for.
Mhm.
Does he just resign with Toronto after? Like, he loves Toronto.
No,
No, Dave, he's
No.
never coming back. If you let
that
him go,
one,
he's never coming
yeah,
back.
that one, that I think is a really, really.
But where else does he just go back to a big market, or does
LA,
I feel like
New
I
York.
think he's the type of I think out of anybody on the Leafs that we're willing to trade, I think Mitch Marner is the one who will adopt the new home
So,
better than the other guys.
but Dave, why would you want to
Hmm.
go? Why would you want to go to? Why would you want to go back to Toronto, the team that shipped you out and broke your heart, when you can go to
No, I'm just saying.
Chicago,
Like
play with Bedard?
I think out of everybody, like out of the 4, out of JT, if they were to get traded hypothetically, out of
Yeah.
JT, Matthews, Marner, and Nylander, I feel like he's the one who he finds so much love out of that new team where he ends up staying. He'll do whatever it takes to stay with that new team. I don't think he's looking for another
that's
change
fair.
of scenery after being traded out of his hometown team. I think he's the type of guy to be like, you know what? This team took their chance on me after the other team before me let me go. I'll do whatever it takes it is to stay in this market and be, franchise player, franchise
And-
piece, all-time great base.
And
I
if
think that's the
Keith,
key. I think the key is that he wants to be the guy.
and if
I think
Keith,
if a team treats him as the guy,
He stays.
you're right, Dave. It's possible, yeah.
and if Keith gets, let's say 98, 95% out of Marner, could you imagine Rod getting 130%
God.
out of Marner?
Oh my God.
No, dude, Mitch Marner would be an excellent Carolina Hurricane. He would be fantastic. I think almost if you're trading Marner, like it's almost tough to see Matthews. I don't know how much that hurts Matthews' chances of resigning, and I think they'd be like the type of guys to like bundle up and go to LA. Like I could totally see that, man.
Ugh.
I know,
Or
Dave. I'm
or
going. We're
Chicago.
going way too far down the rabbit hole, so let's
Gosh.
stop. What's the next one,
Gosh.
Brian?
The next one
Good lord.
actually is Marner to Carolina once again.
Wow, who would have seen that
Shocker.
one coming?
4, Seth Jarvis, Brett Pesce, and 2 first-round picks.
This is probably the fairest deal.
I think you say yes to that one. I'll be honest with you.
I think you do. I think Carolina.
The extra
They-
first is what does it in. The 2024
Yeah,
first is
yeah.
what ruins it. If it's
I
the 2023 first, Brett Pesce and Seth Jarvis, I think that's fair both ways.
Is
yeah.
it 1 or 2 first that we're getting
It's the
back?
2023
Two.
and the 2024 first. Like,
So their 2023 is like what 30th or 29th?
Yeah, something
And
like
then
that.
next year's is whatever it is, probably at same
Maybe
range, like
30, maybe 30
25.
second.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Seth Jarvis and Brett Pesce. You do that deal if you're gonna resign Brett Pesce. I don't know what his number is. It's probably like somewhere between 5 and 6. You basically sign into what you did with TJ Brody,
Yeah.
5x5, or 5x4, and then Jarvis. I don't know if Jarvis has a high enough ceiling for me to be like, yeah, he can come
Signing
in and do something even close to, not that someone's gonna do close to what Marner
what
does, but I don't know.
what is Seth Jarvis's number? He's like
I have
He's
no idea.
RFA. He's RFA and he's RFA this season. I'm trying to think what he did production wise this year. If I had to guess, he probably did like 20 and 30. Like he probably was a 50-point getter with 20 goals. I don't know, where does that get you? That's kind of like the Kasperi Kapanen range, honestly.
so if it's
Like
like
you're getting make like
4.5 to 5.
4x3, 4x2, 3.5x2, something like that. So what you're basically saying is Seth Jarvis and Brett Pesce. Is Seth Jarvis and Brett Pesce next year for the Leafs better than Mitch Marner? Probably not.
No.
And then those firsts, those are like magic beans. So you could trade them, you can draft with them. This one makes you think. The fact that we have to think about this really hard probably means it's the fairest one, because that Cash one, that was an instant yes for me.
Yeah.
This is
It was
a
and it was
hard thinker.
Cash plus Pesce.
Yes, it was a
You know
it
what
was
I
a
mean?
steal.
Yeah,
It
that's
was a
slam
steal.
dunk.
And
Right
I think
now
Carolina Hurricanes fans would have to think for this trade too. I don't think it's a slam dunk that they would do it because of the 2-year Marner thing, where he could up and leave and you're left with nothing from that trade. But I think they think long and hard about it too.
I go for this one. I'm gonna say 55-45 for Toronto. I think
I
that
agree.
says Jarvis Pesce and the 2 first-round picks make like it's
There's
a big
much
haul.
less risk for Toronto in this deal than there is for Carolina, because once again, Pesce can be extended instantly. You don't have to sell him on the Leafs for a year. You're working out that deal right away. It's like Uyghur, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Here's the one thing I have to say with that, and I know picks are magic beans, but let's say we bring in somebody like Brad Treliving as the GM. I think
we did bring this. You brought this up.
I outlined my worries last episode where I was like, the
I don't know if
gap.
we did that on the pod though. Did you bring up that point
I don't
that you made?
remember. I don't remember if it, but
Between
okay. So
Dubas and
basically,
Treliving's track record as
so there, and it was
a
their track record. Okay, granted, this was also picks outside of the first round.
Okay.
So that's another caveat there. So maybe he's got first round magic powers. I don't know, but he definitely does. Brad Treliving does not have magic powers outside, lock on picks. Basically, he's only got, I think he only has one man game played on picks after 2017 or 2018.
Basically the same time frame as when Dubas was hired.
And Dubas has like 219, I think. So it's like 218 more games basically of man games played. But I think that also doesn't take into account how I believe Dustin Wolf is after the first round after 2018. So like he'd fall into that category, and he could
just hasn't played games yet.
Yeah, he could realistically become like the franchise goalie for the Flames, and like great for them. Like that's a great pickup, but that's a bit worrying, basically, right? Like that for a team that wants to pride itself on, or they have in the past where their first round picks are locks, but they also wanted to find value in picks later in the draft.
That's how you sustain a team over multiple eras, right?
Exactly.
You draft well.
You've got guys like was Pierre Engvall not like a 4th rounder? I don't know
something like that. Yeah,
I don't know if he was a Dubas draft pick, but I
think he was
like that. Yeah, so he probably added on to that tally, right? But
the next one is a bit of a waste of time, but we'll just throw it there. It's probably a no from you guys, but I'm slamming yes on this one.
Probably a no.
This is from a Toronto fan, by the way. I just want to let you guys know. 2 third-round picks.
Washington trade?
Yeah, 2 third-round picks to Timothy Liljegren.
It's Anthony Mantha. Oh, okay. Wait, 2 third-round picks for Timothy Liljegren?
Okay.
No,
They've
No,
unless you're flipping those thirds.
yeah,
It's the magic beans thing again. I need something back.
I need an actual proof of like I need value coming back, like actual value
Yeah.
coming back. And I'm not gonna say like no, those they're listen, let's not beat around the bush here. Timothy Liljegren's trade value has plummeted since midway through the season.
How do you think it compares though to Rasmus Sandin's? Like if Rasmus Sandin fetched us number
Half.
28, really?
half. You guys
No,
didn't
because
play.
that's
You guys
Liljegren
didn't play him.
played
You sat him in the playoffs over Luke Shen.
no, but
At
he
home.
then
we
he
did
ended up
the exact
getting
same thing
games.
with Sandin last year.
Yeah.
Sandin also
San-
sat games for us last year. And Sandin was being healthy scratched in the rotation before we traded him.
Getting sat in the playoffs is like worse than getting scratched in the regular season.
Sandin got sat in the playoffs last year, and if he was on our team, if we didn't trade him, he's not coming in. He's only coming in for Gio after 3 or 4 bad games. He would not have started game 1.
I don't know.
I'm just looking at it from the before Sandin was traded. Like now in hindsight, you say, okay, look at how Sandin's producing. Do you think Liljegren would produce like that? Probably not. But from the standpoint of if Sandin fetches 28, like what does Liljegren fetch you? To me, he fetches you like a mid second round pick. That's what I think his value.
I'd say like I don't know, like 55, 60. I think that's reasonable.
I think you're underestimating him a little bit because it's not like he plays no minutes. Like when I was looking at trade targets for Liljegren, he plays a lot more minutes than some of the guys I was looking at. Like I think he averaged 18 minutes of time on ice in the regular season. And I think if he were to step in on a weaker blue line, that probably goes up to 20. Like I think he's in that type of Sandin style where Sandin got immediately trusted with ice time because of injuries, but also because you guys traded guys away. I think Liljegren is in that same mold where you trade him to the right team. Let's say, I don't know, like an Anaheim maybe. He plays probably bad. Yeah. Oh, well,
maybe Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a great one. Chicago. And he'd be playing 21, 22 minutes a night there.
Another thing too, he's also right-handed. And
which is value.
Right-handed,
precious.
Right D, that definitely
I'll state my opinion. Sorry, Brian, go ahead.
I'll also go on and say this. Liljegren is worse than every single right-handed D like that we have.
Give me your right-handed D.
Carlson, Jensen, TVR.
I think it's better than Carlson, honestly.
Like he just is just out of the 4 players, he's the worst one on the 4. So
yeah, I think TVR is probably.
You're gonna take him over TVR?
I'll take
TVR is
over
TVR is like an analytics darling, but the thing with TVR though is I don't like how much ice time does he get? I feel like he's probably in like that 15, 16 range, right? Yeah. He's in the sheltered role. With Timmy this year, we exposed him a little bit to those higher pressure minutes, and for a while he responded well. I do think you're probably right. Like for your guys' purpose, you probably take who you have, but I think he does have legitimate value around the league. And my whole thing with possibly trading Liljegren isn't really it doesn't have much to do with him. It has more to do with he represents a spot on the blue line where you can make change going into next year, and you could probably flip him. I'd flip him for a forward of a similar age. That's what I would do. Because it opens up a spot, and then you can go into free agency and you can sign a defenseman to put some new life into the blue line. Because I think most people would say you don't want the exact same blue line coming back last year. And just go through the names. McCabe's not going anywhere. I don't think Brody's going anywhere.
No,
Morgan Riley's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
You're trying to bring Luke Shen back, I think. If you don't, then yes, that is a spot. Gio, I don't really think is going anywhere.
No, he took
so who does that leave you with?
For a
reason,
right?
You'd be crazy. And I think Tree Living probably loves Gio, right?
Yeah.
Yes. There's no problem there. So between all that, actually, you know what I just thought about? I don't know.
And Connor Timmins is there too.
Does Gio love Tree Living after he exposed him in the Seattle expansion draft? We don't have to go into this.
I think he's going to learn to love
him
again, honestly.
Yes.
It's just
I think Gio's
that
type of guy.
I have one last one. Fast, boys. Let's
fast.
This is the Leafs fan making a trade with the Rangers, sending Mark Giordano, Mitch Marner, Nick Robinson, and a 3rd-round pick for Barclay Goodrow, Alexis Lafreniere, Vincent Trocheck, retained salary half, and a first round pick.
Dude, way
Holy
too
smokes.
convoluted. This trade would never happen.
You just
I already
traded out
lost my
3 fan favorites there.
and the Rangers are like saying, okay, we're trading the guy we signed last summer. We're trading Lafreniere.
Yeah, our
I
former
think
first overall pick.
honestly, I think both teams might say no to this one. I don't know.
Yeah.
That one's too convoluted, I think, to even
The-
make sense. I don't see any world where that trade happens.
The
Yes.
laugh, I think laugh though is a very intriguing.
Very intriguing. Very intriguing.
Because let's say I think he still has the skill and the potential.
Yes.
I don't know if he's gonna first overall potential, maybe not.
Is Toronto the
definitely-
spot for him to like
Oh, I
figure
don't
out his
know.
Probably
potential?
not.
Though?
Probably
no.
not.
No,
don't
he
know.
needs to be in like a San Jose or something.
Yeah,
It's
Send him
not
to
Toronto.
Seattle. Send him
Yeah,
out to Seattle. Send him to
Laugh and Shane Wright, the two
Oh, yeah.
forgotten boys in the draft. That could be cool.
2
And
Canadian
then you
forgotten boys.
throw in Matty Beniers in the middle of that. That's
And
nice.
it looks
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
good
That's
team.
nice.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
Well, we'll end it there. This has gone a little bit over, but it's okay.
Fine.
It's okay. Thank you for listening. Shout out to Fubo TV, which I think we're renegotiating with them now. Hopefully that works out. Fingers crossed. We'll see how that works. Shout out to NHLShop.ca. Shout out to Razor. If you want to get
Bryan, where can you get your okay? Give me your jersey and then I'll give you my jersey.
I don't know. I was gonna say Vincent Trocheck because it's the first guy I see on my
I was
screen.
gonna say, where can you get your Vancouver Canucks Arturs Silovs Latvian legend jersey? Where can you get that?
Big shout out to Latvia right now.
Yes, big shout out to
Yes.
them. They won third place bronze. Good for them. We are going to end it there. Thank you for listening. Bye. Okay.
Brian's got no